Welcome everybody to Soar and Pair, Why Not Together, episode 27.
Yep.
And remember, Soar and Pair is soaring together to explore new adventures while inspiring others to create their own.
He remembered.
I remembered.
Woo.
If you saw our last episode, I did not remember. But we make improvements every week.
Every week.
At least we think so.
We try.
We do try. And we're going to get right into our subject, which is what is working in our relationship and what we are working on.
Yes.
Because we feel we have a pretty darn good relationship.
I do. Yes.
I'm glad you agree with
I
me.
do.
Because,
I agree with myself.
well, her voice kind of cracked, so I don't know if I'm going to read anything. I do. I'm glad you didn't say that at the altar. I do.
I guess. Yeah.
Do you take this man? I do.
Okay.
No, but we thought we would, Soar and Pair is about us, about Sandy and Jim, and we thought, you know what, let's just talk about what's working, what we're working on, and how we're, navigating our relationship, because really that's what makes Soar and Pair kind of work.
Exactly. And, we've noticed that there's a lot of people out there who are, navigating this, of course, the same things, and the struggles are real. Everybody's struggling with the same types of things, and so we thought it was a good topic to touch on today.
Yes, and we have 9+ years of experience of our relationship.
Ours, yeah.
So we got a little time under. We're not actual rookies here, but who knows? We'll see what comes out of this.
Yeah.
But what we kind of agreed to do is we kind of wrote down separately what's working. So this will be interesting, and then what isn't working. So buckle up, folks.
We may go to blows by the end of the day.
This could get really exciting. No, but so I will let you go first. Well, you can say one thing that is working, and then I'll say one thing, and we'll just kind of tag team and see how this goes. I'm double crossing my fingers, hoping for the best.
Oh, please. Dramatic much?
Yes.
Let me see, I need a pen. So what's working, I think what works with us is humor.
That was my #1 thing.
Well, what do you know? We're on the same page.
I know. Having fun, humor.
Yeah, definitely. I think that works for us. You make me laugh, sometimes at myself.
Well, there's a lot of material there, sweetheart.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And I think I'm funnier than I am, and I know I'm not. But it's even funnier when people roll their eyes at all the puns.
You get a perverse pleasure from that, don't you?
I think I have to confess that I do.
Yeah.
So
it's not a secret, Jim. I hate to break it to you, but everybody knows.
That's true. That's like that. What's this last joke I told you? What do you call a homeless horse that's crazy?
Yeah.
Unstable.
Unstable, yeah.
Just, again, I
went with something crazy horse, but I was off, yeah.
Yeah, which he's a historical figure. He may have been homeless and probably crazy.
Probably.
Okay, so I'll give you points for historically accurate.
Okay. Historical accuracy.
Historical accuracy, however. No, but here, I don't think I can honestly say there hasn't been a day go by without us cracking up about something.
True.
Even if it's the littlest thing. I'm trying to remember what made you laugh earlier.
Something, but I don't remember what it was either, but I was cracking
up.
Oh,
we were talking seriously and she flashed me.
Oh! I can't believe you shared that.
Well, she's not going to do it now. And don't worry on the podcast land. She's not flashing now, but
no.
She's just like, hello.
I I was like, hey, Jim.
I'm like, really? I'm like, really? Okay. Really? Expect the unexpected with Sandy.
Yeah, I like to catch you off guard.
She does on a regular basis.
I cannot believe you shared that. Okay. Things just got real.
Well, we're being transparent even with our clothing.
Yeah. What's next on your list? Moving right along.
It's an interesting one because we just talked about what we talked about, but our friendship has been strong and continues to be strong since day one.
I agree. I completely agree with that. I think it's really the basis of our relationship is we started out as friends and it just got stronger. So that continues. I wouldn't want to lose that.
I remember it was over 10 years ago, we, although we'd been, as some of you know the story from episode 1, if you haven't heard our story, go to episode 1. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But the very first night we talked, it was on the stairs in your house in Oregon, and it was all night. I mean, it was like from, well, we drove around for a little bit, then on the stairs we talked till like 4 in the morning. It was like 3 or 4 hours. We just found ourselves going from one subject to the next.
Yeah, we kept saying, oh, we got to get to bed, but we couldn't stop talking. Yeah. Right.
And since I lived in Arizona and you were in Oregon, we continued the dialogue for the next several months. And there was some nights where we would talk all night, and it was all friendship. There wasn't, any weirdness going on or any romance. It was just this laughing, again, humor, sharing, that kind of friend that you find like once in a lifetime. You're like, oh my gosh, I can be totally myself with this person. Aww. I feel totally safe.
Yeah.
And I had not had that for a very, very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too.
So it was a very awesome way things started out, and the fact that romance was added to the mix a lot later, months later, has never gotten in the way of that.
Yeah. And that was, honestly, we've talked about this before, but that was one of my concerns was our friendship being sacrificed for the relationship, because when a friendship is so strong, you worry about taking it to the next level, that it's going to dilute the friendship, but it didn't. It just made it stronger. I think it made for a really good foundation.
Right, and you've heard the cliche, I married my best friend, but really, we married each other, and we were really, for all intents and purposes, best friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what made it so awesome.
Right?
So I think that friendship, I think it shows on this, on the YouTube channel, the podcast. We just have a friendship that we just enjoy kind of, bouncing off each other, talking. I mean, we could talk for hours on what color are the shades in this room, or,
Usually with me, it's at night when you're trying to go to sleep.
She's really good at that. Like,
yes.
I want to talk some more. I'm all excited, and I'm snoring. It's a physiological thing. I get tired at night.
And I wake up.
She, a lot of times, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you get up the next morning and go to work. I'm like, don't you have to get up at... Yes.
Yeah, I'm just used to it.
Right. But that continues. I think it's what's working for us.
I agree.
Okay. So now that you're in a better place, after the shock has worn off, you go next.
Yeah. Mutual respect. I think that's really strong. That's one of the things that's working for us, is mutual respect. We respect each other's boundaries, strengths, weaknesses, and we kind of support each other through those.
Absolutely. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Sandy does it all for me.
Really?
I'm a songwriter. It came to me.
Wow.
I think it could be a hit.
Write that down.
No, and I think that respect does weave through everything that we, you know, when there's a decision to be made. I think it's an automatic hold off. Unless we're on the spot, hold off. I want to talk to the other person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's very, very rare. I can't think of a time where a decision was made unless we had no choice. Like, whether it was with the kids, raising two
Right.
teenage daughters in a mixed family with all kinds of drama, them trying to sort of get us to be not on the
To
same
play
page.
both sides against the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would be like, nope.
Yeah.
Talking to Sandy first, or, and even if we were a little off page, we would default back to,
Mm-hmm.
we're a team. I think we've always felt that,
Right.
that
That's
we're,
a good way to put it. I think that's a really good way to put it. It's a team. There's no, everything's a mutual decision, and we kind of attack things together. So
right. We approach things together, and or we, like lay back and go, we're good.
yeah, that too.
So awesome. My next thing, I call it doing little things.
Mm-hmm.
An example is flowers. I just like to get you flowers on random times, and it's
I
not.
love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
And I first, it's just a way of saying I love you for no reason other than I love you.
Yeah, and I saw a thing on Facebook recently, how do you say I love you to somebody without words? And that's a great example of that. I love it. When you get them for me, it's always a nice surprise.
This episode brought to you by FTD Florist.
Yeah.
Flowers will make a relationship work.
And he didn't do anything wrong.
No, but I mean, I think it's those just because things, a foot massage,
Mm-hmm.
a
meal.
Absolutely. I think all the beautiful touches that you put on meals, or me surprising you with dilly bars from Dairy Queen, which I
have a weakness. I admit it.
Late night, I worked all day tune, and I'm like, you know what, dilly bars.
Yeah.
And this look on her face when I come home and have this box of 6 dilly bars. Ooh, you would have thought I brought her a diamond ring. I'm serious.
Sometimes chocolate is better than diamonds,
And my usually catchphrase is when I have something, I'm like, do you love me? She goes, of course I do. And I showed, oh, I love you more.
Now I love you more. Yeah.
So, little things.
Yes. I think goals, and we kind of touched on this already, but one of the things I said was we have similar goals, and like I was saying earlier, we support each other through it and push forward. We kind of help each other propel forward.
Yes, and I think it goes back to mutual respect. So your goal of going to school, polarity, and doing this, 100% behind you. My goal with my music and or anything else that I want to do, you're 100% behind.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
Well, and what I was thinking when I wrote that too was that we're moving the same direction. That we long term we kind of see things similarly. Even if we're doing different things, the end goal is similar enough that it makes it easy to push forward together.
right. Yes, I would agree. One of mine is enjoying time together, but yet giving each other space.
Yeah, we've touched on that one before too, but it's very important, I think, and having something to bring back to the relationship that, especially if you spend so much time together, having something fresh to bring back to the conversation is good.
Right.
Having your own space.
It's true, but I genuinely enjoy watching a show with you, or going on a drive, or taking a walk. I mean, I really look forward to that.
Me too. Yeah, me Me too. Our time together.
Right.
Yeah.
Your turn. Tag.
Tag. I'm in. Weaknesses.
Oh, we're to that already? Oh.
No.
I'm like, wait, we're still in the good stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it looks like I started repeating myself, but that we understand each other's weaknesses. You know, not just your goals, but the weaknesses too. And,
I think that's different. That's
yeah,
good.
and that we kind of help build each other up, and when one of us is starting to flounder a little bit, the other one kind of pushes them along.
Well, and I very much like this about you is I don't feel judged.
Good.
I don't feel, and I hope you don't feel too.
No.
I don't, you know, when we're talking about one of my weaknesses or what have you, or it's obviously coming out.
Right.
You know, I believe that kind of gentle approach, or even not saying anything, is just important, because it's so easy to start picking at each other. I used to see a lot of couples, not used to it, I see a lot of couples just sort of pick at each other. Oh, you always make a noise when you chew food or whatever. You actually have told me that.
I have.
You're loud when you chew.
It's like, okay, I need background music. This is loud.
Just eating. I can't help that. My salivary glands, you know. Anyway, but this picking at each other in terms of doing it, I think in a
condescending way.
Yes, a judgy, condescending way.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing is, I think, you know, being aware of that, and being, if you find yourself starting to go to that place, just taking a moment, taking a breath, and thinking about the things that I love about you, so that I'm not tearing you down unnecessarily, because why would you? Well, that's different. That's just truly annoying.
As I pretend to chew for those on the podcast. That just took her out of a, I tried to, no, that's okay. Annoying.
Yeah. You know, I only have so much strength, Jim.
No, but as you can tell, that humor is what we use to sort of navigate around stuff. But again, I've never felt like, you know, I need to change this because it's a, you know.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm grateful for that. Another one that works for me is, I know this is a general topic, communication, but especially about the uncomfortable things. Especially about what's eating you, you know, that whole what's eating you.
Right.
Which I know ties into the friendship. All these kind of tie into each other. But being able to say, I don't even know why I'm uncomfortable, or I don't even know what's bothering me. But as we talk through it, it'll usually come out.
I was just thinking that, yeah. Sometimes, especially with men, I think sometimes it can be harder to identify. You know, you always hear the jokes about the woman saying, "What are you thinking about?" The guy says, "Nothing," and he's really thinking about nothing. But that's not true. It's like...
Let me take that gender slap.
Well, you hear this all the time. I didn't mean it direct. The point is, sometimes you just need help figuring out what it is you're feeling. I do too. But it's just, I think it's harder for guys to identify that because it's not as innate.
Right.
You know?
And when we're not thinking nothing, we don't understand what we're feeling. I just really, I don't know how to come back from that. No,
I'm sorry.
This is the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, and you know, part of it's true. Us guys do have more of a struggle when it comes to that uncomfortable stuff, you know, and having a good friend, male or female, to really talk about what's happening is, I think, a great thing to have, and we're fortunate to have that with each other.
Yeah.
You know, not to say we don't have other friends, but we really have that solid with each other.
Yeah, I think it's important to go outside the relationship and talk to people sometimes, but then if you do that all the time, then you lose that close bond.
Right.
It's important to have it here too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. So let's talk about what we're working on.
Ooh. Dun, 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 dun.
I will go first.
Okay.
We just talked about this, but honestly, it ties in. So what I'm working on is letting out emotions on a deep level. Because a lot of times, and I know we just talked about it, but it's true. So I'm a guy, and
to underscore, yeah.
Yes, but really understand why it is I have a block or why it is this is happening, and she always picks up. She always picks up on the. I swear, I could be 30 miles away in my office, and then I'm like, and she's like, "What's wrong?" I can sense something's wrong. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, there's a disturbance in the force of Soren Pear. I mean, she is tuned into me to an uncanny amount. I don't mind that because I have nothing to hide, but I think it's understanding why. It's like sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why I don't feel good.
And then sometimes we'll get to talking about it, and then I can help you kind of identify where it came from, and then once you recognize it, it kind of dissipates, usually, right?
So she's a healer and a witch.
I'm a good witch.
This may come a thing here, but yes.
Yeah.
But it really opening up, I think, has been something that I continue to work on. And I think it's important in relationship because if you're not dealing with what's really eating you, as we talked about earlier, what's really deep down inside about whatever subject, then I think you start to drift apart,
Yeah.
and that starts to really have an effect on who I am as a person.
Right.
So.
Yeah. No, I love that, and I think that's something that we both continue to work through, and it takes male, female, we joke about it, but really it doesn't matter. From both sides, it's the same thing, and it requires a lot of diligent attention,
Right.
so that things don't build those knots that we talked about that can start to form. We try to keep those at bay as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Interestingly enough, I am trying to soften my triggers. Meaning, just like we talked about last week, softening myself a little bit to where I'm backing up more and allowing you to step forward.
So I don't back up more.
Exactly. That's a great description.
No, that's good, and I think so that would help me step forward more and become a little more, I won't say aggressive, but a little more out there, right?
Solid, yeah. Not that you're not, because you already are.
Solid as a rock.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Another thing, when I say we are working on, I think is technology, not allowing technology to
block us.
Yeah. I mean, I know many times we've been on the couch watching something and we're both on our little games or we're both on our little world. And that sometimes can just continue to, I don't think we've ever sat in a restaurant and we're both on our phones and we don't talk. I mean, it's not that bad. But I do notice that a lot of times it's, continuing that game or looking at this or looking at that. And I
Right.
think that is something always to be aware of. Not that I'm saying we have a big issue with that, but I'm just watching it in myself.
Yeah, me too. And you know, I've noticed the same thing at restaurants when you know go out to eat, you go out in public someplace, and you see couples who aren't even talking on date night because they're on their phones. Yeah, it's something that I think we all need to, at least you and I, pay attention to and be careful about, because it can take over. It becomes addictive to the point that you don't even realize that you're reaching for the phone doing something instead of spending time together.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder.
And one more thing I'll bring up, and this really has to do with me, but it's breaking the routine. I am a routine-oriented individual.
That you are.
We were joking earlier that my name was Routine Ricky. And I love to follow a schedule. I love to have A, B, C, D, E, and know what's going to be. I mean, I've worked over 30 years in the same job. There's a routine when you're tuning the piano. There's a routine when you're practicing.
Right.
And so I think for me, it's breaking out of that and sometimes throwing caution to the wind, seeing that in myself, because I don't want us to turn into a routine.
No. No, neither do I. I don't struggle with it as much as you do.
She's being kind.
But, well, I think, I do too. Of course I do. But, we all get into our routines. Mine may not be as stark as yours, but I have mine.
Right.
For sure. So, I like that one.
Yeah.
And I tend to push you out of your routine pretty frequently.
On a regular basis. She does.
It annoys him.
But
just a little.
Yeah, so I mean, I really feel, I think this week we wanted to just sort of open up and be like real about, not that we weren't before, but to be real honest about who we are as a couple, how we handle things, what we're doing well, what we're working on.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we have our arguments, but we don't blow up that much. It's rare. I can count on one hand how many times we've blown up. Would you say?
I would agree with you, of course. No, she's right.
What'd you say? No. But I mean, I think it's how those disagreements along the way are handled that do make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, so we continue to work on Soar and Pair. I mean, and it is really about working on the relationship, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's putting that energy and attention and effort, because it's just like taking care of a plant or anything else. You've got to put love and attention into something that you care about.
Cultivate the relationship.
It can't just be, I'm coming home and you're there and I'm here. So,
when we find when we find ourselves falling into that, because we have, then it's like, okay, we need to mix things up a little bit.
That's right. So when Routine Ricky rears his ugly head and says, "Lucy, I'm home," Lucy will usually shake things up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I will.
So we found a couple quotes we really liked here in the end. Do you want to read one of them?
Sure.
Since you've got your glasses handy?
So, I like this one. You don't need someone to complete you. You only need someone to accept you completely.
And the other one we liked, a great relationship is about two things: appreciating the similarities and respecting the differences.
Yep.
Boom. Yes. So let's go to a Sandyism.
Okay.
Because this is definitely the differences.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to try to do this right in the tone of voice that she does.
Oh, this will be good.
Okay, and just for context, all I'm saying is two words. H-A-H-A. Haha. But it goes like this. Let me try it again. I can't.
There you go.
Will you please demonstrate for the audience so that?
Oh my goodness. Well, like I was making fun of the dog earlier, right?
There we go. Yeah. I can't do it like.
It's usually when I'm poking fun at somebody.
Which is quite often.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm not picking on you, I don't care much about you.
That's what she said the other day as an excuse to not, that there's a fine line between that and harassment. Yeah, I wouldn't pick on you if I didn't love you.
Yes,
really?
and it means I love you a lot. Yeah.
So yes, I appreciate the demo on that. We did want to give a shout out. We appreciate all the feedback we get both on the podcast land
Yes.
and YouTube. We did want to give a shout out to our dear friends in South Africa.
Yes. I wanted to say hi, and sorry I missed some texts there, but we're thinking about you and we miss you. Take care.
Well, and I will say their names so we can.
Oh.
Frank,
Oh,
blessings
yeah.
and praise, Simwaka from South Africa. They're actually from Malawi, but we've become very, very close. We've sent videos back and forth, and it's just great to strike up a friendship. We would love to meet them someday. We probably will, even though they're halfway around the world. We were telling them how hot we were in Arizona.
And they're freezing.
And they're freezing in South Africa. That's just, not only are they across the world, but they're down under on the other side, not Australia, but South Africa. So we wish you the best and hope that you continue to do well. And Sandy will respond to you.
I will respond. I missed it, so a couple times. Anyway.
But what's great about the internet and social media is that you connect with people not only in your same neighborhood, but halfway around the world.
Yeah.
And that's
really awesome.
That's a really cool thing. So
I can't wait. I really want to go to South Africa and meet our friends.
Yes.
So
we
it's
do
not
have,
if, it's when.
Yes. We appreciate all the support both on this channel, on my music channel. We really do appreciate all the comments and what you're saying. And we wish and hope the best for you and your family. But we'd like to thank all of you for hanging with us in this episode. And we want to remind you to continue to like us and subscribe on YouTube. Give us comments and feedbacks about this episode.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think, and keep the comments coming as we keep our YouTube channel going, and also our podcast. Because remember, the YouTube channel is where you see our faces. The podcast channel where you hear our voices. That would be on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Castbox, Stitcher, all those wonderful platforms and more.
Yep.
But we appreciate you all very much.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye,
Take
guys.
care, everyone.